Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Fleric.
And this is Mac.
And this is our preview for the Haru 2021 Basho. We are recording this on Wednesday, 4 days prior to the tournament. And I don't know about you guys, but it feels like it has been like an extra long break between
Sumo's back
for some reason.
Sumo's back.
And he's also doing a very embarrassing dance for himself.
People can't see this.
Well, maybe. I mean, this is our first attempt. We might be able to video this one.
No. Hey. I didn't sign up for this.
And I mean, I've learned how to edit audio, but I'm pretty sure that video, it can't be done. I'm pretty sure that.
For those of you that just saw that embarrassing display, I'm proud of it.
And for if this does work out and you are watching this on YouTube, hey.
How you doing?
He's looking at you.
But if it doesn't work, you can ignore that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a while since we've had real sumo. It's nice to get back and hopefully a fully stacked Makuuchi division. I mean, sounds like both Yokozuna should be participating.
You
haven't
had to say it out
heard any.
loud.
I know. I'm sorry. It doesn't sound, at least at this point, like there are any mass COVID breakouts. Nobody's tested positive, so we.
But the testing's happening today.
Yes.
Oh, it's happening today.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll just jump right into it. So top story, I think, for every tournament is going to be COVID. So far, it's not bad for this Basho. So far, we're good. All the Gyoji, Yobidashi, and other support staff have been PCR tested. All of them came back negative. Like Fleric said, Rikishi are being tested today. So fingers crossed that nobody, at least in the Makuuchi, period, nobody we want to have to sit out. But if somebody sits
You heard
out,
it from Ryan. He only cares about one division.
you're not entirely wrong. But if somebody has to sit out, hopefully they're not in the Makuuchi division. It'd be nice to have a Basho where everybody is at full strength. So that's all the COVID talk we really need for this time, because there's no other reason to bring it up. So we'll just get that out of the way. No reason to bring it up anymore.
Check in a couple days when the entire tournament's canceled again or something.
When we have to release a 5-minute podcast, like, yeah, don't listen to our preview episode. They canceled the Basho.
Yeah.
It is a silly thing.
Yeah. The JSA has gone under and sumo doesn't exist anymore.
No.
Yeah, we recorded that a day early. That's on us.
God. We should have known. But before we dive into what we actually expect to be seeing at the Haru Basho, let's, as always, go to our field correspondent B to get our recap of the Hatsu tournament.
Hey guys, B here with your Hatsu 21 review. Guys, I gotta tell you, of all the pay-per-views I've ever watched, this was certainly one of them. Remember that long, lengthy love letter voicemail I left you guys for New Year's talking about, long-term storylines, big name arcs, a beginning move forward, and yes, no, Daisho, I guess. Here's the thing. Despite what some people online might say, I know COVID isn't a work. So I understand them having to put the brakes on the Hakuho storyline. But deciding to kill a rope run to make reference to the Takakesho doesn't talk to his coach storyline that they dropped a year and a half ago seems like a waste. And before anyone says it was a pivot, they had him jobbing before the so-called ankle thing, so it was obvious that the card had been set. I'm like, Daisho? Why? The 8 and 7, 7 and 8 thing was a neat little mid-card factoid, but I feel like we're taking 2 steps back again. There's no strength in his win as a potential headliner, and he doesn't suck enough to be a novelty, so he's kind of just there. I feel like they're making the same mistake WWE did. They had such a huge marquee, larger-than-life face of the company for so long that rather than just stick with one guy and give him a rub, they shotgun as many options as they can. Asanoyama, job him out. Shodai, injury withdrawal. Maybe Daisho. Maybe Kaiju. Maybe this 30-something. Maybe they just pick a guy, okay? Don't make me have to milk a pop out of Hoshoryu getting a streak, I guess. Also, How is he supposed to be the Orton in my sumo version of Legacy with Kota Nawaka and Oho if he jobs on the last day? I'll see you guys in March. Oh, and P.S., my Japanese is still a little rusty, so if you guys can find someone who knows how to translate dreaded X into Japanese, I think there's a Jurio judge that definitely needs to learn it. Thanks.
Great work as always, B. I don't know any Japanese, so I can't help you out with anything that you were talking about at the end there. Just figure it out, man. That's why we don't pay you.
Yeah, no money orders. Sorry, B. Not gonna happen, man.
He's on his own.
Yep. All right. So sumo wrestling, and for the first time in, let's count it, carry the one, 8 months, there should be a Yokozuna on the doyo. I don't want to get anybody too overly excited.
You're gonna jinx it, Ryan.
I know, but we've been teased before, but not this time. I think it's for real. So let's start off.
I love how skeptical he was, but that's like, well, maybe it could.
I've been hurt before.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We've all been in this situation. We've all recorded this podcast and picked Hakuho as our champ, and then had to last.
Do you want me to just like go like pick the first 5 minutes out of like a previous preview where we can just cut that in and just not spend the time on it again?
That'll work just as well as anything.
There you go.
But for the sake of, let's just believe in some fantasy world that both Yokozuna show up. Let's start off with Kakuriyu, as we rarely do that with him. He's the overshadowed Yokozuna, and for fair reason. I mean, it's Hakuho. But let's start off with Kakuriyu this time, because I think he's got a little bit. I think they both have the same on the line, but it feels more dire for Kakuriyu. Just because he doesn't have the fact that he's Hakuho and can Zensho Yusho at the drop of a dime and save his career. So Kakuriyu, last time in January, it was a make or break tournament for him. He needed to perform or he'd have to retire. Unless you just don't show up, I guess. Then you're good. Then you can push it off for the next Basho. So this one is even more makier or breakier than the last one. As of March 2nd, Kakuriyu has affirmed that he will participate. That's a full week behind us, so who knows what injuries he has gotten. We know that he participated at least in some of the combo practice. He's doing training matches in his stable. So Fleric, what are your expectations for Kakuriyu in this Basho? I know before Haru, at least one or two of us was predicting retirement for Kakuriyu. Is that still what we're kind of thinking is in the cards for him?
It's tough to say, but I say if you want him to continue doing Sumo, obviously he needs the Yokozuna Kachikoshi of like 10 plus wins.
Yeah.
But like, I guess we're asking what my heart says about this guy. This person I put an entire fortune behind making lunchboxes for this guy. I don't know. I'm kind of getting a little iffy, wishy-washy. Kind of, I think he's training up to see, like, try to do the best he can. But I think as soon as like he starts dropping matches, he's just gonna drop out of the tournament and probably retire. That's my gut feeling. Whether or not he's still really, really good, I will say.
He's
like,
still a Yokozuna.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what was it? Like 2 years ago, like when Hakuho was like finally dropping down, Kakuriyu came back and he just like won 2 tournaments or 2 out of 3 tournaments in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2019, he won 2 in a row. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. No, it was 2018. He won 2 in a row. He had a Jun Yusho and a Yusho back to back in 2019.
There we go.
Yeah. So he's still really good. I think a lot of it's just going to come down to form, like on the day. Like if he can just keep on stringing up wins, like he's going to keep on going for it. But if he just gets like an unlucky day, or he gets like, ashitoried by like a young rascal, I think he might start packing up. So that's my expectations. It's not that great.
Yeah, if he has one of those like the Charlie Brown missed kick moment, if he has one of those,
Yeah.
that'd be tough to weather. But yeah, I totally agree. I think that what's most likely is, in my opinion, is that this is probably it. Yeah, he's really good, and I'm sure that there's a lot of being in Hakuho's shadow and only having 6 Yushos in comparison. There's a lot of legacy that he wants to keep fighting for, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, it's not like he's catching up to Hakuho or anything like that, but maybe he's got 1 or 2 in the tank.
So my opinion on it is I still think he's retired by the end of this year, but I think he makes it through this one.
Ooh.
I think he ekes his way through. But one thing that's given me pause on this is I feel like the Sanyaku and Joy ranks are stronger than when last we saw Kakuriyu in Nagoya, July of, or was it Haru? Was the last time we saw?
March
Yeah, I guess
2020.
Haru. Yeah, Haru. So a year ago, when the last time Kakuriyu even had the decency to win a sumo match, we're looking at a very different, well, not very different, but I feel like a stronger Sanyaku rank. So back in March of 2020, you had Takakesho, Asanoyama, Shodai were all there. Asanoyama and Shodai, I feel like, have taken a step up, both literally and figuratively, as they're up in Ozeki now, and I feel like their sumo is consistently better than what it was back then. Hokuto Fuji and Endo were your Komosubi, whereas right now you have Takayasu and Mitake Yumi, who are Sanyaku stalwarts who know what it's like to compete there for a long time, whereas Hokuto Fuji and Endo can't stay in Sanyaku to save their lives. I mean, Maegashira won Daisha. We know what he's done over the past year to step up his game. And then you had like Oki no Umi, Toku Shoryu, who's down in Juryo now, Yutaka Yama, who's at the bottom of the Makuuchi division. I just feel like, and then you have to go even further down. You have to go to like Enho and Abi were people that would be facing Kakuriyu at the time. So I just feel like he would be facing a much tougher Sanyaku ranks. Just adding Teruno Fuji in there is such a huge upgrade to anybody.
He's
else.
effectively a fourth Ozeki, effectively.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll get more on him later, but I'm not talking myself out of Kakuriyu getting past this tournament and participating in Natsu, but I'm talking myself pretty hard into it's only going to be 10-5 or 11-4.
So still a Yokozuna Kachikoshi. So still, yeah, I'd buy that.
Yeah, because I think I don't know if they'd let him stick around at 9-6. I think after being off, having not won a match in a year, and you're only able to get 9 when you come back, they might be like, it's time, buddy.
I think Kakuriyu would be also disappointed in that, and he'd probably kind of himself decide, along with hope from his Oyakata, that maybe it's time.
No fewer than 16 wins, or else he has to retire.
Yes.
Have to win in a playoff on day 15
against someone you somehow haven't already faced.
Yeah,
exactly.
Get the M17 guy. Here we go.
Yeah.
That is also undefeated.
That is also undefeated.
And then here's what we do. You get 3 guys at 14-1, 3-way playoff. He wins 2 in a row to get to the 16.
Oh,
but that one loss, I don't know.
I don't know if you can stick around with that kind of stuff on your record here.
But Mac, what about you? What are you thinking for Kakuriyu this Basho? We got 2 retirees and me saying he's going to make it through.
I think he's going to make it through. I don't think it's going to be anything grand. I don't think he's going to set the world on fire, but I don't think this is not the last tournament for him.
Yeah. You think he could take down these Ozeki, these young whippersnappers?
I didn't say that. I think he's going to prey on the Makushita guys.
There you go.
Not Makushita. I'm sorry, not Makushita. Magashira. I'm sorry. Did I say that? No.
There's a lot of people sitting out for
Yeah.
COVID, okay?
Yeah, we just got the test results back. It's
My true feelings have been revealed. Darn brain.
Yeah. And this guy's on fire. He's 3-0. Like he's ready to go. Yeah, I guess he could technically still lose to Hakuho and all the Ozeki plus Teruno Fuji and still get 10-5 and 10-5.
And that's why I say that.
I guess that's
okay,
possible.
he's gonna prey on the Magashira.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Shimano-Umi's in the joy now.
Oh, you're right. Oh, wait a minute. I need to
Somebody's
reconsider.
for sure chump pick Shima no Umi.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, no other.
That is a lock.
All right, so it seems like we're pretty split on Kakuriyu this Basho. Let's see if we are similarly split on his fellow Yokozuna, Hakuho. So far, COVID-free, once again. Hopefully testing all comes back and that stays the same.
Why don't we just assume that for everybody?
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Yeah. We don't have to say it every time. So he's been training. He was at the combo practice. He was at the combo practice last time, and he was ready to go for the previous tournament. So he has not participated since July of last year. Mac, with a Hakuho that's been sitting for 8 months, is this his Basho to lose?
To quote my exact words on the outline,
Helpful.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, a peek into my brain.
But also accurate, because we're all like,
yes.
That's fair.
I would have to say yes. Even with Kakuriyu, I'm betting Kakuriyu is going to drop this one. I think Hakuho is still Hakuho. He's got something to prove. He wants to end on a high note. Zensho Yusho, maybe. There is more competition this time, but I still think this is Hakuho's to lose.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys saw this though, but apparently Hakuho did acquire an elder stock.
I
Like, with
did.
the-
I saw
Oh, he
that.
did?
Bagaki?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure of the name or if I can pronounce it, but I
will
think that
look it up
does.
to confirm.
But I think that
Okay.
is kind of relevant. It's very interesting because normally people who are kind of dai yokozuna, they're like top yokozuna of their time. They normally kind of get like you don't have to get an elder stock. Like you can just be an elder and keep your own name. So
And
he
for
didn't have
those
to do this.
uninitiated, real quick, elder stock is like the name that you get after you retire, and it's something that every retired rickshaw that's continuing to work in the JSA has. You have to have one of these elder stocks to be able to like continue your sumo career with the JSA after wrestling.
Yeah, it's kind of like 105, I believe, in total, and like they all have like a name that was like super old names that have been passed down from like each oyakata and oyakata. But I think it's very interesting because Hako probably didn't need to do this. Like he arguably was gonna be just fine and probably be able to continue in the sumo world, but he did, and he kind of did before this tournament, which I think is interesting about where his mindset's at.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of rumors for him that when he retires, he's not necessarily guaranteed that Dai Yokozuna elder stock just because of some of his behavior. So yeah, if he's getting to the point where it's like, I want to continue in this, I want to make sure I can get in the JSA. I don't know, it's not guaranteed that I get this elder stock. I better make sure all my bases are covered.
Yeah.
So that does make me a little hesitant to say that he's the absolute favorite. But then again, Ikioi, who is still competing in Makushita, last year got an elder stock to his name. So he has one that's waiting for him. I know that Okinoumi has one that's waiting for him. It doesn't necessarily mean that retirement is imminent for them. It's coming up, but it's not necessarily after this one, I think.
They're running out of
Yeah.
tape for Ikioi. That man can't take much more. He's more tape than man.
He's keeping the entire Japanese sports tape business alive.
Mhm.
And necromancy business.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think I mostly agree with you guys. We don't really know, but I think Hakuho's Hakuho. I think he's the favorite still. If he shows up, I think he can beat anyone. And he's probably going to get 15 wins.
I don't think he's gonna Zensho, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Hakuho is gonna be one of those rare guys that he's gonna win the U show this time and next time. And then no, because I think he needs to be active for July to do the Doyo Matsuri at the Olympic Games.
I was just going to bring that up. I think that is
So-
one of the biggest factors here.
I'm going to say you show this time, sit out Natsu, you show July, and then go out on top.
Yeah. But is the Tokyo Olympics going to happen? And B, I think it was just going to be running the torch. I don't think there's any talk of like a Dohyo Matsuri for an actual something to do with the Olympics, right?
Well, I thought his big thing was he wanted to do some sort of like Dohyo Iri.
That's
so
what I
Dohyo
thought.
Matsuri might not be the correct term.
Yeah.
some
But I
sort
guess
of
I haven't
Dohyo
heard
Iri.
anything. I guess I haven't heard anything officially from that the actual Olympic Committee of Japan has actually talked to him to do something special. They might do something special at Meiji Shrine or something. I can see that.
Yeah, I don't know the full details of it, but I was pretty sure that's kind of what he was waiting for.
Yeah, and it's also possible that they won't let him do that if he retires before that, and maybe they don't want to make it official until they know that he's going to make it. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
we're just
I'm hoping that he does have like some special ceremony, like part of the like Olympics opening ceremony, and he retires then, like on stage, just like Mawashi drop walks off the stage.
Yeah, he takes off his Mawashi and just leaves it there.
Yeah, power
Just takes
move.
the Chomaga and be like, done.
He gets like his attendant with a sword to take it off and just like chop off
Yes.
his.
The dew sweeper
other
just
thing.
sweeps up the hair.
That's what the sword has always been for.
all right. So Fleric, with your speculation with his Kabu, were you thinking that Yusho probably not that he's not the Yusho favorite, or do you still think it's Hakuho? So he's obviously Yusho favorite.
It's Hakuho. He's the favorite. Like, it makes me kind of, I guess, pause a little bit learning about the Kabu, but I think he's probably still the favorite, and I don't think he intends to retire yet.
All right. What about you, Jake? What do you think about Hakuho's chances this time?
I think he's much more likely than Kakuriyu to make it through. I mean, yeah, it's Hakuho, and that answer is always there, but I don't think that he is the favorite. I think that he's, I don't know, this much time off and the recent performance and stuff like that. I don't have enough faith to say that he's the favorite and is going to win the Yusho. I'm kind of expecting what you guys were thinking, like a Yokozuna Kachikoshi. That's kind of where I'm thinking.
Do you think there's like another Rikishi that takes the favorite, or do you think it's just kind of a group, like he's in the group of like people who are the favorite?
I think there's a lot of people that are like equally at like 10% chance to win it, in my opinion. But yeah, we're going to get to a lot of those people, but I don't think Hakuho is I don't think he's a tier above the field this time around.
He's in the field. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, word from the combo practice is that he did like 30 matches against Onosho or something and only went 20-10 against him.
Only 20-10?
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic here. Is that like legitimately he lost 10 matches to Onosho?
Yeah. No, that's 100% legitimate.
You know, I've known you for like 10 years, but sometimes I feel like you're screwing with me like
No,
that.
I'm pretty.
That is a
rough.
hell of a poker
It's-
face.
It might not have all been against Onosho, but I feel like he definitely lost. He did like 30 matches in a day and lost 10 of them, and I feel like they were all against Onosho.
That's a
But
bad sign.
It's also, I would say that in sumo, like during the tournament, you just do one match. In sumo practice, you do like 20 in a row. That's the first couple is going to be more accurate to what it's going to be like on stage, but the next 18 are just kind of weird, you know?
The next 18.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you get one swing at each of your opponents.
Okay.
Mhm.
Got it confirmed per at Sumo followers tweet. Onosho did Sanban with Hakuho and did 10 wins and 20 losses. And then she added her own commentary. And betting Hakuho went home worried. Onosho is, of course, elated. Yeah, it's amazing that somebody getting 10 wins and 20 losses is absolutely over the moon about how they did that day.
Fair enough.
I will say, like, a lot of I remember reading some training reports a couple years ago when Hakuho and Kakuriyu were kind of doing that stuff more often. A lot of it was just like, yep, Hakuho won every match, or like, yep, Kakuriyu won every match and stuff.
Yeah.
So losing 10 is impressive because it's Hakuho.
Yeah, I feel like Onosho does decent against Hakuho. I'm gonna set up the next conversation, the topic of conversation, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of digging. So if we're all good, is that everybody good with Hakuho? We don't have anything more to say about him.
Yeah, good.
All right, and I do want to confirm it was Magaki, the Kabu that Hakuho has. So we'll move on to the next highest rank of Ozeki, and we're going to start off with somebody who might not be an Ozeki past this tournament should he not do well, and that is Takakesho. He had that disastrous Hatsu Basho after his Yusho winning performance in November. Only managed to get 2 wins before leaving after like day 11 or 12 or something like that.
I'm salty. I'm very salty about this.
Mac very much wanted the Takakesho Yokozuna promotion.
Yes, I did.
But referring to that ankle injury that took him out of the Hatsu Basho, Takakesho says, it's progressed to a degree that it doesn't bother me. He has confirmed that he will participate in the next Basho, and he says that he has been practicing so that he will avoid relapse and be in perfect shape for the Basho, that shape being a sphere.
Perfectly spherical.
Yes.
To that point, he has apparently lost 17 kilograms or 37.5 pounds in American
Holy cow.
since September. He says that he's changed his method of training, and it seems to have caused my weight drop. So we can't say that weight drop caused him to do poorly in Hatsu, because that weight drop was happening when he won the tournament in November. But Jake, just do you think Takakesho is going to bounce back this Basho? And bouncing back is just keeping the Ozeki rank, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I do think so. His big problem, at least in the time that he's made it up to the top of the banzuke, has been injury. And he's always recovered very quickly from his injuries. So the first time he was Ozeki, he dropped out of a Basho, and then he sat one out, and then he came back with a 12-3. The next injury in mid 2020, he dropped out for the last third of a Basho, came back with another 12-3. And that was right before his Yusho. So I'm thinking that he's still young enough that he's a spring chicken that can come back from all of these things that keep happening to him. I'll admit a lot of it is also that I'm picking with my heart here. I think that I think that he's gonna get 12-3. It's what it's what history has told us so far. Takakesho sits out for injury. He comes back and gets a 12-3.
All right, what are you, Mac? Are you on the 12-3 train with Jake?
No, I'm not on the 12-3 train.
Well, dang.
I could see 8-7, but 12-3, no.
Yeah, I mean that number specifically is I mean, it's happened twice. Of course it has to be that. But but no, I'll say officially if because it's Ryan, I know he's writing all this down. Officially, I will say Kachikoshi. But yeah, I would be pretty surprised if he stormed back that hard.
All right, Jake, 12-3. If he is not, Jake retires from podcast.
Locked in, quit the
Oh, boy.
podcast. Yeah.
So Mac, you're not quite as high on Takakesho's chances, but do you think he will be Ozeki in May?
I think he'll get it. I think he'll perform just enough. I think he'll get Kachikoshi.
All right. What about you, Flerick?
I feel about the same. Maybe a little bit more, like closer to like 10, like 10-5.
12 maybe.
But it's pretty much the same. Like it's like I think he's gonna bounce back and at least get a Kachikoshi. But it's like very tough in the Sanyaku. That's the thing that gives me pause.
Yeah.
I mean, Sanyaku wasn't that different back in November, with two huge exceptions.
I was about to say, hold on.
When Takakesho won that Yusho. But I mean, who's to say he's an Ozeki? He's not going to be facing the Yokozuna until like the final 5 days. Who's to say the Yokozuna even make it this far in Haru? So
yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm waffling on Takakesho because we've seen this before. Like his first 2 tournaments as Ozeki, he had losing records and dropped out. But the second one that was a losing record was just pretty much a continuation of that same injury from his first losing record, and he never even showed up to that tournament. So it's not really the same case here. I am going to say he gets his Kachikoshi, and you know what? Yeah, I'll say 10+ wins for it.
There you go. I'll join you on that, Ryan. Put me
All
down
right.
for 10.
All right. Ooh, all right. We are going to all keep track of. So, Mac, I need a number for you.
Oh, God.
The rest of us are down with a number. Jake has 12. Matt Flerick and I have 10. Where is Mac at?
I'll go 9-6.
All right. Mac thinks that Takakesho is trash.
How is that trash?
Will never amount to anything for the rest of his career. Got it.
This
It's
he's
written down
not
in the record.
Takayumi. He's not Takayumi.
Oh, dang.
Oh, dip. The Mitake
That's right.
Yumi
I went
shade.
there. You heard it.
Mitake Yumi shade scheduled for later in the podcast, but we're getting to it now.
You're
Okay, let's
moving
go.
ahead. You're moving ahead in the outline.
I haven't even read the outline.
You know,
That's
I'm
about
not
par for the
shocked.
course.
Really?
You know what? Format breaker. Anybody got anything to say about Mitake Yumi while we're on the subject? Because my shade was like, I got nothing. I mean,
Actually,
got
that's my
nothing?
shade too.
Seriously?
I got nothing. Maybe he's back. I will say, like, he got a 9-6 last Basho. Maybe he's back to his 9-6 ways of where he just keeps on getting 9-6. Or was it 7-8 and 8-7 that he did?
No, that's Kageyaki.
No, that's Daisho.
That was a
Or
Daisho.
Used to be Daisho.
Oh.
But yeah, I just can't think of anything new to talk about with Mitake Yumi at this point, which is, I think, shade in and of itself a little bit.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah, we'll see. He doesn't seem to be making waves. I don't expect him to this Basho.
No.
Definitely not the wave action Supari of Takakesho. All right, that's a terrible segue.
Wow.
So
I appreciate the effort.
Yeah. I tried. I
Good
could see. I
spirit.
could see. Jake, I could see
Okay.
Jake really appreciated that segue there. And it wasn't even segueing to Takakesho because we're moving on to the other Ozeki. We're talking about Shodai and Asanoyama and some Olympic-related news for Shodai. Disappointing Olympic-related news for Shodai. I didn't know this, but apparently he was scheduled to carry the Olympic torch at some point during May, but he had to give up his position in the torch carrying relay since the day of the run was going to be prior to the Natsu Basho, and COVID regulations require him not to go out 2 weeks prior to the Basho. So Shodai will no longer be able to carry the Olympic torch.
That sucks.
Yeah, that would be a really cool thing to be able to do, and now he's not able to do that. So kind of feel for Shodai there. Flair, do you feel bad for Shodai at all?
I feel nothing.
You monster. Talking about Asanoyama a little bit, he had a quote recently saying that he recognizes that a Yusho is the expectation for him if he wants to take the next step, which is like a very mechanical, emotionless way of saying, like, if I want to be a Yokozuna, I need to win the Yusho. I don't know. The way he said it just felt weird to me.
Yeah, but it's also like the perfect image of Rikshi, just kind of saying, yes, in order to do better, I must win with my brand of sumo.
Exactly. He's just staying perfectly on brand for that. What's the word for the dignity of the Yokozuna?
Hinkaku.
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 Yes. He's just leveling up his Hinkaku skills.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna be the outside guy here going, "Doy, like you have to win to go higher. It doesn't take any, massive brain power to figure this out."
You know
He's
what?
not
Asanoyama?
focusing on. He's not focusing on silly brain thinking. He's focusing on his brand of sumo.
Sumo clay thinking.
You know what, Asanoyama? You got 4 straight Basho with at least 10 wins. That's Yokozuna material if I've ever seen it.
That'll do.
That'll do.
Asanoyama has also said, and I don't know, this kind of concerns me, that he is listening to commentary and reading articles, and they say that he needs to be more aggressive. So I don't know. I've never. Maybe he's using that like NFL players use that to kind of motivate themselves, but it can go one of 2 ways. He can use that to be like, oh, they don't think I can do anything, and I'm going to use that to motivate myself and show them, or you can really get in your own head, which I think we kind of think Asanoyama is in his own head a little bit. So I'm probably reading far too much into that translated statement.
No,
But
you
that
have
does
to work hard
concern
enough.
me. That does concern me a little bit for Asanoyama here.
I would say to him, "Don't worry about it, pal. You're fine." Like
That'll do.
other than
That'll
the
do.
other than his injury in November, the last time he got less than 10 wins, we were in Japan. That's
Oh,
how long
wow.
it has been that he's gotten 10 plus wins every single time. Just keep at it, buddy. You're fine. It'll come through eventually. If you're getting 11 plus wins every time, eventually it's going to fall into place. It'll happen. But don't alter anything substantially at this point. This is not the
You'll
time
lose
to
rank.
Yeah, this is not the time to turn anything upside down. Just stay the course, keep practicing. You're fine.
He's only 27 years. If he has a kind of uptick at 29
Oh no,
to get better.
Ryan,
and
you went all
improve.
robot-y. Say
Yeah,
that one
we
again.
had Robot Ryan.
Oh crap.
Your stinking
So-
internet.
I know. So Asanoyama is only 27 years old. He still has time to improve. I mean, Shodai had his huge career uptick when he was 28, 29 years old. So if Asanoyama has a similar uptick when he goes 28 to 29, the only way to go up is to Yokozuna. So he still has time to, yeah. So I think, like you said, stay the course. You'll get there eventually. But for this tournament, Fleric, who will have the better Basho, Shodai or Asanoyama?
It is tough because their recent results are very similar. I think like they
were
took-
exactly similar.
Yeah, they both took like time off like in November, I think. Did they?
Yep,
drop
they both
out?
pulled
Yeah.
out in November, and then both got 11 and 4 Junyu shows in January.
So it's very, very tough. But I will have, as much as it pains me to say this, but I think I have to probably give the edge to Shodai. Shodai, exactly for what we said. I think Asanoyama, he has like a little bit of mental game he has to figure out. Like he's very good, but he tends to kind of have like a wall against like certain people like of Ozeki or Yokozuna's stature. So I until I see that, I think I have to give the edge to Shodai, who has 2 extra years on Sumo to do well. Blah. Sumo to do well.
That hurt. That hurt for you to say, didn't it?
It did. That's all I got.
You done
agree
good,
with
Fleric. You
Fleric.
done good.
I agree with Fleric. I think it'll be Shodai. But what about you, Jake or Mac? Do you have differing opinion?
Yeah, I think I have more faith in Asanoyama.
Alright.
Shodai, like Shodai's been like I mean he's obviously he's done great recently, but like to me he still feels like newer to the top tier, and thus like I don't trust him as much yet.
It's been a whole year where he's been doing really good.
I was about to say, hold on here.
But like
know what you mean.
Asanoyama, I mean it hasn't been like it's not like Asanoyama's been on the top for like 10 years or anything, but like to me his like consistency at the top, this like longer streak really feels more solid to me. Not that, yeah. So I think it's going to be close. I think they are both going to do well. They're both like right at the cusp of, becoming like potentially the next guy. And you guys keep putting your finger up to talk next at the same time, don't you?
Yeah, we had a cute moment of where like we both wanted to make a point, but then we gave it up and just point to each other, like, say, no, you go, no,
Yeah.
you.
It was adorable.
talk,
I'm going to
Ryan.
go Asanoyama, but only by a little bit. Now you guys fight over who gets to talk next.
Okay.
Nope, Fleric won.
Oh no, but you. Oh, you're such a good guy. But what I was gonna say, the one point I wanted to say of like where it feels like Shodai has been here like a little bit, like not as long, like a little bit less, which I totally agree with you. But looking at his record, he's been in the Joy for a very long time. Since like 2016, he's been up and down, mostly up there in the Joy. So I think he has definitely a lot more Sanyaku experience in that regard.
Yeah. What about you, Mac? I think it's always a good idea to pencil you in for some solid Asanoyama support.
Well, while I do want to pick Asanoyama, my heart is saying you have to factor in luck, wily nature, and that Tawara ballet. And
Oh, I
who
like it.
better to display that beautiful grace than Shodai? And it's because of that I have to give him this edge. I don't know how he does it. He can do spin moves right and just keep his toes right on the just like a freaking ballerina. I have to give the edge to Shodai.
All right, so Jake alone on Asanoyama Island. The big question, Jake, is does he beat Teru no Fuji in this Basho?
I want to say that he does, but I was looking it up. It's 4. 0-4.
No.
Yeah, that's gonna be. Oh man, I think that if he beats Teru no Fuji one time, then he's like on his way to Yokozuna. Like if he could just like do that one match, that's like his, that's like his kryptonite. At least for the last year or so here, I have no idea if it's gonna be this time or not.
I kind of want to see the streak go to like 10, like where
Yeah.
you cannot ignore. I want to see it in double digits. And then, like you said, sometime halfway through 2023, he beats Terano Fuji. He gets the Yusho that Basho. Next time, boom, Zensho Yusho, Yokozuna promotion. And then it's just smooth sailing from there.
Or better yet, he becomes the next Hakuho and like wins everything for 10 straight years, except always loses to Terano Fuji.
Terano Fuji's just waiting, just like,
He just goes 14-1 for like 5 straight years.
the nemesis.
Yeah, Terano Fuji's like 42, but he still is like beating us Noyama.
Yeah. He's showing up for like his barely 8-7 clinging to Ozeki or what have you to stay near the top. And then, but yeah, that one match every Basho.
I do want to circle back around to a point that I forgot I said I would get back to. Onosho versus Hakuho's record. I said Onosho does pretty well against Hakuho. 1-3 against Hakuho. So
That's a pretty solid ratio.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
25% against Hakuho. That's pretty good. But for some reason, I thought he had a couple of wins against Hakuho mixed in there. I might have been confusing him with Daisho, who I'm pretty sure has at least 1 or 2 Hakuho wins underneath his belt.
He's got one for sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to say one thing in favor of Onosho is he just came off a 9-6 Basho. I think in the Joy, I believe he was around there. So he's actually probably on the hot streak. Hopefully, because like we kind of forget that when he first entered the Makuuchi division, like he was like kicking butt. He had like 2 or maybe 3 like double digit Kachikoshis. So, but then he unfortunately got injured, and that's when we kind of see his current form, which is kind of a little bit lackluster, I would say. But come off 9-6, and he's doing well against Hakuho. You know, I think maybe he might make something of himself this Basho.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can get back into the Sanyaku ranks for the first time since he rocketed up there and then had that injury that knocked him back down, which he hasn't really fully recovered back to the same levels that he was at. So Daisho is rocking that same exact ratio that Onosho has, just with double the experience. He is 2-6 against Hakuho.
That sounds better.
So we were talking about him quite a bit in relation to Asanoyama, but let's talk about Terano Fuji proper. The Kaiju has 24 wins, 2 Jun Yusho, 2 special prizes over the past 2 Basho. That's a lot of 2s. But we want to see those turn into 3s for the next tournament and turn that into an Ozeki run. We want to see at least 33 wins. Hey, 3 Jun Yusho would be nice. Throw a 3rd special prize in there. That can't hurt. Do that over 3 Basho. That gets you an Ozeki promotion. He needs 9. The magic number is 9 to get to 33. Realistically, he needs 10 or more for an Ozeki promotion because every Ozeki run in the 15-day Basho era has ended with 10+ wins. I do want to point out there's been some good discussion on r/Sumo between these 2 Basho about Ozeki runs and some stats about them. So if you want to check out the thread Ozeki Run Myths that was put up by user that guy Alex 2018 on r/Sumo. There's some pretty good information about there or on that thread talking about Ozeki runs and how they work.
Pretty solid post for a guy that I presume is 2 years old based on his username.
I mean, these kids these days and their technology, they're just getting younger and younger and know how to use it.
Yeah, all the other usernames are starting to get taken up. You have to. This is all that's left.
Yeah. So yeah, Terano Fuji, I would assume 10 wins would get him an Ozeki promotion. That would get him 34, all within the Sanyaku ranks and with a couple of Jun Yusho in there. I think that should be enough. Another thing that they talked about in that thread was you're less likely to get the Ozeki promotion if the fewest wins are in the 3rd Basho. And so he's working on a run of 11 wins and 13 wins. 10 wins would be the fewest, but I still think 10 wins should get him there. 11 to be super safe. So that being said, do I think Terano Fuji gets there? I think I had been on record in the past of saying that his knee injury was going to be too much, that it's going to creep up on him at just too often for him to get that over that peak. Over the past 2 Basho, I think he's changed my mind. I think despite the pain that he's clearly in sometimes, he's still an absolute beast on the dohyo and is very capable of getting 10 or 11 wins to power up and regain his Ozeki rank in Natsu. So I am going on record and saying that Terunofuji will be in Ozeki in Natsu, and that we will have 4 Ozeki. What
4
about
Ozeki.
you guys?
Meaning
Takakesho, because I think Takakesho will stick there as well.
Yep.
Got it.
I gotcha. I caught up. I'm with it.
Who doesn't think he's going to get there? Who thinks those knees will explode on him? Probably right after he fought and defeated Asanoyama.
I was gonna say as long
Yes.
as soon as he
Yeah.
faces Asanoyama, and no, I kind of want to take the sadness hedge and say not Ozeki, but like I don't know. I think this is one of the topics that is like a true 50-50 for me. I don't think there's any chance that he gets anywhere between like 3 and 11 wins. Like it's going to be, if he stays healthy, he's going to do what he does. And you know, if his knees finally do explode again, then that's it. But I'll say yes Ozeki just to like stay positive here a little bit. But yeah, he's optimized his health in such a way that grabbing and lifting and pushing sumo wrestlers straight forward is the only motion he can do without excruciating pain and injury. He's the glassest cannon of any athlete I think I've ever seen.
But it's working for him.
Yeah, until it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yes, until it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was like along with you, Ryan, a little iffy when he first came back to Makauchi, but like just looking at his record, Yusho, and then like 8-5 or 8-7, and then Jun Yusho. This guy's pretty good. I think it's looking like he's gonna get 10 plus wins. Whether or not like his knees explode as soon as he gets his 10th win, we'll see. But I think he's gonna get the
Immediately
10
after
first.
his 10th win, just knees just boom.
Boom. He gets the rink, he gets the parking lot for a 2 Basho, but then he's done.
All right.
No, I'm
what
right there
about
with
you,
you.
Mac? Is it a clean sweep?
Yeah, it's a clean sweep. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Well, that only means that he is just going to look middling at best and go
Yep.
8-7 with like no sign of injury.
Pour one out for jinxed Terunofuji.
Yep. All right. We're going to move on to our other Sekiwake, and I feel like it's the only conversation we've had since he's become a Sekiwake. But Jake, now that the Yokozuna are theoretically back, is this when Taka no Show finally gets a losing record like we've all been expecting since he was promoted to Sekiwake?
I'm not breaking the streak. This is the time that it catches up with Takanosho. Mark my words yet again. For the 4th time in a row or so. No, I'm thinking 6 or fewer wins probably is kind of the. Let me bring up his record and convince myself further. But he's no.
Somebody's got to soak up all of these losses. If we assume Hakuho and Kakuriyu are there, you got 3 Ozeki, you have Terunofuji, so the 6 people ranked ahead of him. But you also have Takayasu Mitakayumi, who are looking solid at least at Komosubi. We'll get to Daisho in a moment, and then
Daisho, he's just a lowly Komosubi, so
Yeah.
yeah. And then you get to world beater Hokuto Fuji. Like, who? Somebody has to take all of these losses.
Honestly, I think for me, it's not that I think that he, it's not that I think that he's like beyond his skill. He's clearly much more of a phenom than we give him credit for. Ever since he like went like 3 years ago, just decided to quit being a moderate Makushita guy and just decided he was Sanyaku material.
Yeah.
I just think that he's got to be the weakest link in this very strong Sanyaku.
He's the least flashy, I feel like, with the least amount of accolades, and so that's why it's hard for us to take advantage, or not take advantage, to take him seriously.
Interesting phrase.
Yes.
Freudian slip.
What I think about in bed when dreaming about sumo is a completely different topic. because records in the Sanyaku ranks, they're all winning records, but they're still middling. Not the diddling that happens in the dreams when I take advantage of Takakesho and his.
Okay, we're still on this. You kind of paused
Sorry,
for a
what?
second.
You paused.
You paused. So I thought we were just gonna awkwardly just leave
Yes.
that. Nope. While I'm in the bed, this is what I think about.
Nope.
And then we're just all kind of left that hanging.
Oh no, that conversation is still continuing.
Yes.
30 solid
Still on it.
seconds of me dreaming about Takakesho. That being said, yeah, I think he's going to get a losing record.
I will go. I guess I will just say that I think he might just barely get 8-7. He's going to drop a lot, but mostly because Takakesho is back, and I think, like you say, like just all of a sudden, like last year when he decided to start to be a really good Rikishi, that's when Takakesho kind of moved Heias to his Hei. I'm pretty sure. So that's. I think he is going to get a winning record, but he's going to definitely give up some of those losses so everyone else can get 15-0.
Iron sharpens iron.
I'm right there with you, Fleric. I think 8-7 most likely for him.
All right. We will see how Takakesho shakes out on the dohyo and in my dreams.
Shaking Takakesho.
It's the jowls. It's the cheeks and the jowls.
It's the smile. All right. Let's move on to Komosubi. And what the hell is going on? Daisho is only a Komosubi? Just burn it all to the ground. Burn Sumo to the ground. Burn the Basho to the ground. Burn Daisho to the ground. This is BS, and we won't stand for it.
Whoa. Don't burn Daisho to the ground.
It's, innocent bystanders and,
Innocent.
Yeah. Sumo has gone too far. We must shut it down.
No, it hasn't gone far enough.
No, if you didn't listen, if you're like Fleric and you didn't listen to our Banzuke review podcast, you might
There's
not
no
know.
Fleric on that. Why would he listen to
There
it?
isn't one.
Yeah.
But when this Banzuke came out, Daisho was absolutely given the shaft by the Banzuke committee. So in the Hatsu tournament, which he won, he was the 11th overall ranked Rikishi. He then proceeded to have a 13-2 record. He won the Yusho, and because of that, he moved up a total of 1 overall ranks to now be the 10th overall ranked Rikishi, behind such luminaries as 9-6 Takayasu and 9-6 Mitakayumi, who were only 1 rank ahead of him in the previous Basho. Daisho will be the first Maegashira 1 to get 13 wins and not be ranked Sekiwake in the next Basho. That includes 1 Rikishi that forced open a new Sekiwake rank because there otherwise were no open spots for him. Albeit this is a small sample size of 5, but it is still historic. And Daisho is the first Rikishi in the 15-match Basho era that was ranked Maegashira 1 through Maegashira 4, won the Yusho, and was not ranked Sekiwake in the next tournament.
Yeah. But did you forget the fact that it's Daisho?
The Banzuke committee forgot about him just like we did.
Yep.
And he
just
should
right
be
at the end, like,
grateful.
oh shit.
He
Daisho.
should be grateful.
But what I am suspicious of is this is the Banzuke committee's way of saying that no, there are not 2 Ozeki runs going on right now. Daisho is not going to be promoted to Ozeki from Komosubi because if you look at his last 2 tournaments, he's just 1 win behind Terano Fuji there. He has 23 wins over the last 2 tournaments. 1 from Maegashira 2, 1 from Maegashira 1. He's been absolutely shafted in the Banzuke the past 2 times to still have been only a Maegashira these past 2 Basho. But I think this is Banzuke's way committee of saying, if this guy goes 15-0, 14-1, he's not getting Ozeki. He's ranked Komosubi. And there have been, once again, no Rikishi in the 15-match Basho era to go from Komosubi to Ozeki. You just don't skip the Sekiwake rank. So I'm curious if anybody has any differing opinions on Daisho getting promoted to Ozeki, even if he went 15-0. That's a very intriguing situation, and I would absolutely love to see it. Unfortunately, I think it's going to remain a hypothetical. But does anybody think if 15-0, 14-1 performance, do they rocket him up to Ozeki? Or I think in that instance, he just goes up to Sekiwake.
I think you're probably right, but yes, I also desperately want it to happen.
Yeah.
Just for the sheer
yeah.
absurdity.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there isn't any like, I mean, until the Basho starts, there isn't any like super compelling narrative to it other than this one right here. This is like the most compelling narrative, like that I think, in my opinion, I think this is the thing that could be like the most novel for this particular Basho.
What about Hakuho and Kakuriyu's careers on the line?
I don't know. That one feels like more expected and long coming, and it's almost like tired at this point.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
not wrong.
But how many times have we heard this before too? It's like their careers are on the line. You need to perform.
It's like that's not news anymore.
Once a year since we started watching Sumo.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I agree with you. Like that's kind of old news, but like like the banzuke committee potentially getting the shaft, like in a big fuck you, like with Daisho doing really well. I hope that Teruno Fuji gets like his 10 wins too. So like all of a sudden, like I guess we get 5 Ozeki. Let's go.
Yeah.
So you think
Ooh.
if he does really good, he does skip Sekiwake and goes up to Oseki?
I think he would have to get maybe essentially Yusho for people to kind of calling bloody murder egg in the streets and shit.
I
But-
think the real question is, do they even give him Sekiwake for that?
No. No.
They'll just make him like Komusubi 1.
Well,
That'll be fine.
Takayasu and Mitake Yumi got 8 and 7 and 9 and 6 on this respectively. So we don't want to hurt their feelings by moving them down. So probably best to keep him Komusubi 2.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
Eh.
Who
Alright.
knows? Like
I say
he
hurt
went
their
up,
feelings. Move them down.
Yeah, he went up 1 rank. It just kind of it's really interesting that the like a lot of your rank progression in your career depends on how everyone else is doing around you.
Mm-hmm.
Of where like if these guys did better, I guess I don't have a shot, which is I think it's very interesting. I think this is probably always in the system, but I can never actually became an issue. And it sounds like they're banking on it's not going to be an issue. Like
Well-
Daisho's not going to get a double digit.
He's
I
gonna
mean-
get smacked down.
They've had workarounds built in. They just create new Sekiwake slots. Like I said, there was Maegashira 1 that got 13 wins, and there was no room for him at Sekiwake because the Sekiwake both had winning records. So they created a third Sekiwake slot. It's like we saw just last year where they had 4 Komusubi slots. They have mechanisms built in. So if
the
you're
solution
bumping,
is right there.
yeah, if you're
right
bumping
there.
up against people that can't be demoted, they have ways of giving you the honor you deserve and being in the Sanyaku ranks when you've earned it.
But I think you're kind of right hitting on the tail. That this is them trying to stop a potential Ozeki run, because we potentially might have 5 if they both do well, and Takakesho does well, which is like a lot of Ozeki.
That's a lot of Ozeki.
I don't
know.
see that as a problem though. I mean, like that.
No, but
I mean, if you have a lot of Ozeki, that means you have a lot of potential Yokozuna, and that's a big story. That's a big deal. That's like a interest generator. I would think
It's-
they'd want that.
It's possible, but then you get Guedos who once they get Ozeki, they just kind of like hang around.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. I think that I don't know. I think there's some flaws to the Ozeki rank where you kind of get some weird things going on, and getting 5. I don't know. I think they're kind of worried about it. Is my take on it.
If you're gonna have 5 Ozeki, all 5 of them have to have definitively earned it. And I think their argument is Daisho just spent the past 2 Basho as a Maegashira, not in the Sanyaku ranks. And so that means in their minds, he hasn't earned the right to kind of make a name or take one of those Ozeki spots for himself. And they just want to see a little bit more. And I mean, this kind of performance out of Daisho is still fairly new, so they're probably still not absolutely sold on him yet.
I mean, yeah, he was a Maegashira, but only because they shafted him the time before that too.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
he's still facing the same people. It's like
It's
just
all the same people.
yeah. It's
Shit
just the
sucks,
argument
yo.
that you get the hard ones in the beginning and not the end. It's just I don't know.
I don't know. It's a very interesting thing to see play out. What'll probably happen is Daisho will go 7 and 8. Everything that we've talked about will be absolutely moot. And then we won't have any more fun things to talk about. Everything will stay the status quo like it's been since Kisen Osato got promoted to Yokozuna. Nothing's changed since then, really. But so let's move on. Speaking of not changing, Takayasu is still Komusubi. Anybody have anything more to say? Is him and Mitake Yumi? I got nothing. Yeah, his name is on Jake's wall. Meme, joke. All right, let's move
Yeah,
on.
but if it, but like you can actually see it on video this time.
Yes,
That's
that
true.
is true. That is
Once
true.
again, if we
If
get
it
the
works.
video to work.
Yes.
There's a lot riding on you, Mac, for this one.
Yeah, that's fine. Just send me the video file. I'll try it.
Godspeed.
So let's move on to some non-Sanyaku Rikishi. I want to start off with Midori
Oh, so
Fuji.
so my meme, you feel like that means I don't have anything else to say about him just because it's written on my wall?
All right,
Yes.
say something new about Takayasu that you haven't said the past two Basho when he was in Komosubi.
I don't have anything to say. I'm just offended that you assumed it.
Fair enough. Do I have everybody's permission to move on to Midori Fuji?
Granted.
Midori Fuji? Nah, that's good. Let's go.
Midoriya Fuji.
Our new anime pro tag.
Yes.
But Midori Fuji, he's getting that anime pro tag storyline because he's going to be coming back from an injury. So fresh off of his Katsukashi driven technique prize that he won, he suffered a herniated disc in his lower back apparently 2 weeks after the Hatsubasho. He has been doing Shiko and trained against some lower ranked Rikishi, and he believes he will regain his strength before Haru. Just like every Rikishi believes every muscle tear in their body will be fully healed after 2 days
2
of rest.
weeks.
Where's Recovery Girl? We need Recovery Girl.
So I don't know. I'm kind of worried about Midori Fuji with this Basho. Back injuries and Sumo doesn't seem to be a good combination. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Let's move on to everybody's favorite segment. Pick a Rikishi. Mac, pick a Rikishi ranked between Maegashira 1 through 4 that you want to highlight real quick.
Nah.
That's fair enough. We've gone pretty long here. I can take everybody's time and talk about Hokuto Fuji some more. I got a little bit of Wakataka Kage material stored up. I could always talk about my two favorites, but
I was hoping you would go through Jake and Flarek, and we would just get 3 nahs and force you to move on.
All 3 of us just wrote nah on this one. Like, I mean, I'm sure for the same reasons. This is kind of an uninspiring top of the Maegashira, other than like Shima Naomi being there out of place, making
Yes.
it feel wrong.
yeah, and we've already talked about Onosho a little bit in our expectations.
Oh dang, I did talk about one.
No.
Haha, tricked you.
You fool.
But yeah, other than Ryan retreading the Hokuto Fuji memes the way that I retread the Takayasu memes, like
Blah,
there's
blah,
not a
blah
whole lot of
joke.
material here. Yeah.
I will say, actually, in a real point about Wakataka Kage, I am worried about him this tournament. He was somebody that didn't just sit out because there were other people in his Heya that tested positive for COVID. He tested positive for COVID. He had symptoms of COVID. It wasn't an asymptomatic case for him. He did have symptoms of it. And so I know that something that comes along with that is it takes people a long time to like fully recover their breath and get their lung capacity back up. And I know Sumo is super quick bout. It's 10 seconds if you're lucky and done. But I do worry about his stamina and condition coming off of a positive COVID diagnosis and going up against a stacked Sanyaku. I'm very worried about Wakataka Kage this Basho, unfortunately so. All right, there. We'll count that. That's everybody talking about somebody from M1 to
okay.
M4.
All right, fine.
So
Good
Mac,
job, everyone.
how about somebody between the ranks of M5 and M7?
Well, I think it's time we talk about Ichinojo.
You
We're going to
almost
talk
had
about
us.
Ichinojo here real quick. So he used to be actually pretty awesome. At least I liked him. He's working his way back up. He was working his way back up. I really didn't have anything prepared for Ichinojo. I'm just happy to see him back up towards the top of the banzuke. Keep going, you Mongolian monolith. I love you.
That's former GSB belt title holder Ichinojo to you.
Yes. Oh, excuse me.
All right, Jake, how about somebody between M8 and M10?
Hoshoryu is in this range, and I am pretty jazzed for Hoshoryu. He's only had the one losing record in the top division out of 1, 2. Oh, I guess this is only his 4th try. But going back to Juryo, he's been like, he's only had 2 losing records since he got to Sekitori. So since he got to Juryo, since the end of 2019, he's steadily and slowly working his way up. I am pretty jazzed to see him continuing that trend, and I hope it continues.
And to that point, he's at a pretty cush spot in the banzuke, I would say, because if you look at the people 2 ranks ahead of him and 2 ranks behind him, who's scared of Kagayaki, Koto Nowaka, Tobizaru, Ryuden, Koto Shoho, Chiyo Tairyu? That's the bulk of the people he's going to be facing in the first week. So I don't know that those guys really strike fear in anybody's heart, or that they're necessarily at. They have more experience, but I don't know that they're necessarily at a higher sumo capability level just yet. So I think he could get through that first week in decent shape. I don't think he's going 7-0 through that first week, but he could come out of that 4-3, 5-2, a little bit of confidence for the second week.
You got a couple wild cards. You got a couple veterans. Chiyono-kuni, who could potentially still be a complete monster.
I left him off the list for a very good reason.
Yeah,
he is a step above Hoshoryu right now.
There's a few wild cards, but there's no like really scary sleepers in that range. At least going into the Basho. I mean, it's a crapshoot which mid Maegashira guy is going to start like 11-0. Who knows? But like, could be somebody in that range. But yeah, I totally agree with you. There's a very friendly grouping that I think can lead to him getting another 8, 9, 10-ish.
Yeah. Flarek, what about you? Who between the ranks of M11 and M13 do you want to talk about?
I want everyone to feast their eyes upon the man that is Aki Sayama, of course. He started off last Basho going 6-0 and then promptly lost 5 in a row, leaving with I think a 9-6 in total.
My eyes have a stomach ache. They've been feasting for far too much.
Luckily, there's plenty to go around.
Yeah. There's one thing that I haven't done during COVID quarantine, and that's pass on meals. I think I'm going to pass on this feast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but no, I think he's definitely one to kind of keep an eye on. Like you said, like everyone kind of noticed him when he had a strong start, but then he kind of seemed to have like a little false start or mid start, however you say
start?
that.
He didn't do as good in the second third of the Basho.
There we go. We'll go with that. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see how he kind of does going forward.
He is a very strange aberration here. He's 35, and this is his career highest rank.
Yeah,
this is very weird.
Yeah. All right, and I want to talk about. We don't have anybody that is making their Makuuchi debut in this tournament, so I want to highlight somebody that people that are newer to sumo like us haven't really seen all that much in the top division, and that is Hide no Umi. I think he's the brother of like Tobizaru or Ura.
That sounds correct.
Checking.
Tobizaru. Yeah,
it actually does.
I think that sounds right.
They have the same family name at least.
Okay, so we're gonna say that's gospel and fact.
There you go. It's GSB canon if it's not real.
But this is a guy who is 31 years old. He is going to be making his 7th appearance in the Makuuchi division, and he's going to be looking for his first winning record in the Makuuchi division. Every other time that he has made it, he's gotten 6-9, 6-9, 7-8, 5-10, 4-11, 3-12. He's gotten worse every single time. I think if the trend continues, we're looking at a 2-13 Basho for Hide no Umi here. So we'll see how it goes for this guy.
He is 31-59 as a Maegashira.
Yeah. That
great.
For the uninitiated is, as Jake said, not great.
Not great.
Confirmed. His brother is Tobizaru.
Oh, I thought you were going to confirm that was not great.
No, I was looking it up.
Numbers.
I was like, really?
Crunch the numbers. That's just piss poor.
No, I crunched the numbers later.
Ooh.
That was not the gesture I really wanted to see with that phrasing.
Yeah. While in bed thinking about sumo.
Numbers,
I'll
man.
dream about Takakesho.
I dream about
later.
numbers.
Crunch those numbers.
Keep your Mawashis on.
You don't know what's going on beneath my neckline.
Yeah.
We have our
can only
cameras
see my
angled
face.
we have our cameras angled like this for a reason. We're all just Mawashis downstairs.
Speaking of the Mawashis downstairs, let's talk about the basement of the paid divisions, and that's Juryo.
Well played. I like that.
Now
that was
that's
a good
segue.
transition. That
Yeah.
was a segue.
That's a top 5 segue right there. So I'm gonna buzz through this real quick because we've talked a lot so far this podcast. Our boy Ura is up to Juryo 7. There's going to be a lot of familiar names in Juryo on the top of Makushita. The top 4 ranks of the Juryo division are all guys that we've seen fairly recently in the Makuuchi division. Maybe the only exception is Chiyonoo, but he has been in Makuuchi before. You got guys in Makushita, like the top ranks of Makushita are Ikioi and Kotoyuki and Oho and Daishoho. So these are a lot of familiar names in the lower divisions right now. I'm actually shocked that Ikioi has not retired and is competing in Makushita. I thought for sure the second he left Juryo, he was going to be retiring. You also have a storyline to look at for Makushita 15 West, Hoku Seiho, who is on a 21 match win streak to start his career. We'll see if he can push Jokoryu to get the longest win streak to start his career, but I think he needs to start off like 5-0 or 6-0 to do it.
Yeah. Just a reminder, this is the new prodigy of Hakuho, who is like 6 foot something. He is huge. He is a massive, massive being. And he's doing quite
Jokoryu,
well.
yeah, Jokoryu got 3 7-0s. Then he got a 6-1 with that loss being his very last match.
Okay.
So the record stands at 27 wins in a row.
Okay. I am going to be on record as saying I don't think that will happen for Hoku Seiho. This little things that I've heard on Twitter, I can't claim to be somebody that breaks down sumo, but apparently he just doesn't look like his sumo is kind of at upper Makushita level right now.
He's just a chonky enough boy that he just runs through the lower divisions on size.
Yeah, he's gotten through the point where how big he is will determine the winner of the match, and now he's at the point where technique will determine the winner of the match.
Yeah, he's 6'5". He is a big guy.
200 centimeters, like exactly. That is not a threshold you see crossed very often.
Yeah, he's 6'5", 350 pounds.
That's actually not that huge for that size or for that height. At least it just probably means that he's got a lot more weight to go till he's at like his final form.
We've got a couple of Rikshi in the lower divisions that are going to be making some long-awaited returns. The first of those being Abi. His 3 Basho suspension is up. He is ranked at Makushita 56. It'll take at least 2 Basho for him to get back to Juryo. That's assuming if he goes like 7-0 both times. Mac, what's your estimate for when Abi will make it back into Makuuchi?
Let's see. So this is Haru. Next would be Natsu. Then we have, remind me, the Goya?
July. Yeah.
Okay,
July
the Goya.
tournament.
And then you have Aki. And then the November tournament, which is Kyushu. So I'm thinking 4. I'm thinking we will probably see him in November.
I think it's interesting
so
that
that'd
like
be
the
2
names of the
straight
Bashos were
Makushita
like
Yusho.
What?
Paused again. Paused again, Ryan.
Damn it.
the problem is because it's pausing and cutting you off. There's no way for us to tell you.
Exactly.
I hadn't really said much, so.
But no, Mac, I thought it was kind of funny. Like the names of the tournaments were what was part of your calculation somehow.
Yes, I was like,
I'm curious how the math works there.
It's like four of them.
I mean, I kind of agree though. I think it'll take roughly that because that long outside of full competition, I'd be surprised if he was in top form immediately. So yeah, I don't know, maybe end of the year or so.
Well, so Kyushu would be like the absolute soonest he could make it back.
I see what you mean.
So if he went 7-0 this time, he'd still be in Makushita next for Natsu. He went 7-0 again, he'd be making Juryo for July, and then it'll probably still take 2 Basho to get out of Juryo. So that's assuming like he's just a perfect rise through those ranks, which could happen. I mean, it's not like he was held out for injury. He's not coming back from injury or anything. It was a suspension. So it could happen, but I would place my bets this time next year he is back in Makuuchi.
Yeah, I mean, it's Chiano-kuni just absolutely shredded through the lower divisions, but I think he and Terano Fuji are kind of exceptions there. So yeah, Abi, I'd say roughly like 1.5 times what the minimum would be is kind of where I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm gonna change mine. I'll say, well, no, because I was thinking about it. I'm like 4. It's like, well, if he's starting on this one now, it's like depending.
Yeah.
I'll say like what you said, Kyushu. That's as soon as possible. If he just kicks total butt, I'll go down that. He was a Joy mainstay. Like he's pretty good. He's gonna blow through Makushita and probably Juryo. So
Look, that we'll see that he spent his 6 months off to learn the belt game, and he's just gonna come out in Watanage's.
Wow. If he comes out with a belt game after this,
Shitatanage for you and Watanabe for you.
that would be amazing.
I don't remember the names of the other belt throws.
ooh, oh god.
That would be amazing. That would make me super happy.
Yeah.
I would have a smile on my face.
And another guy that is going to be coming back finally. This one I'm more excited about. Tomo Kaze. He was a big deal a couple years ago before his knee absolutely exploded. He is going to be ranked at Jonidan 55. So this is another guy kind of like Ura and Terunofuji where we can watch their return to the top ranks. Hopefully. Don't want to put too much pressure on Tomo Kaze. His knee did literally explode. And then I just did have a final bit of news before we go into break. The Azuma Zeki stable is in danger of shutting down. So apparently when the previous Azuma Zeki Oyakata stepped down, Takami Sakari took over the stable, but it was just kind of like, I'll do this for 1 year because he was judged to be unequal to the burden of being a Shisho, and a Shisho being an Oyakata who runs a stable. So if there is no plausible candidate to replace Takami Sakari, the stable will shut down at the end of this Basho and be absorbed probably into Hakaku stable.
That is like the most Japanese way to phrase that I can think of. The judged to be unequal to the burden. But yeah, that would make me very sad because Azuma Zeki is like the legendary stable that had the American Yokozuna Akebono and the interesting. Why is he not listed there? I'm blanking on Sideburns' names. What's his name? Takamiyama.
Yeah, Takamiyama.
There it is. Yeah.
Takamiyama was the first foreigner to ever win a Yusho, and he opened the stable in '86. Trained guys like Akebono. Takami Sakari is another very famous wrestler from the same time period as Akebono. He's the guy that has like a really goofy ring warm up. But yeah, if the coaching life is not for him and the stable is going to shut down, that would make me very sad.
He is unequal to the burden.
Unequal to the burdens.
So yeah, the highest ranked current member of Azuma Zeki is Daitenma at Makushita 41, and there are only 6 Rikishi in the stable, so not quite at the peaks that it was when it had a Yokozuna as the top ranked Rikishi. So with that being said, we will take a quick break, and then we will come back with our prediction series. All right, Jake, remind everybody, where does the GSB belt currently reside?
Around the ample bosom of Hokuto Fuji.
Why is it around his bosom and not waist?
Well, I don't know. It sounded like those words were tied together in my head, and I just ran with it.
Yeah, the belt is a very big belt because of many different sizes. So he just kind of brought it to his bosom because I guess he's very chest big. Okay, take it.
No, you got this. Keep going.
You got it, Blerick.
That's my favorite quality of a woman is when she is chest big.
Okay.
Or a sumo wrestler to fantasize about as you fall asleep.
Yeah.
So
Takakesho.
The belt
It's
started the year.
Chest big Rikishi that
I'm
I
gonna
think about.
start
Right.
using that.
Oh dear. What was I talking about? The belt began the year around the ample bosom of Ichinojo. Moved onto the very ample bosom of Aoyama.
Ooh.
Just had to keep that joke going. Bounced around a little bit until the last 5 days, Hokuto Fuji held the belt. So he was, as is tradition, Hokuto Fuji went on a decent streak during the Basho and still managed a middling record. But yeah, so that's where the belt is going to start. And we'll see. It's very possible that this time, this Basho, it could move to the very top, which is kind of what we designated as like the the finale of when we'll retire that iteration of the belt and start a new one. So if the belt makes its way onto a Yokozuna this tournament, it shall be retired, and we will start another one in May.
Fantastic. Hopefully it does end, because I'd like to see it rise through the ranks again, and hopefully, as much as fun as it was to see it rise up with Ura and Shionokuni, like to learn a few new names.
Yeah.
Yeah, get to know some other people on the way up. There have been so far 75 matches in the history of the belt. It started at the beginning of the Kyushu tournament in 2019. So this would mark barely a year and a half, which is roughly what we kind of expected just based on some case studies that we did.
So we'll keep an eye on that, but we will now move on to our prediction series, and we always pick a champ who we think will do amazingly well, and we pick a chump who we think will do amazingly not well. We have a little bit of a dilemma because we had 2 losers last time that tied with the worst score in our previous prediction series, and that was Jake and Mac. So
technically we have 4 losers every time we compete, but in this particular case, yeah, me and Mac did the least, the worst out of the group.
Yes. And so we need to figure out which one of you two is going to pick for champ first. And so I need both of you to close any tabs on Sumo DB.
Closed.
Honor system here. All right. Whoever is closest to this number will get the first pick. How many career wins does Kageyaki have?
Total.
4.
Yes, total.
4.
All divisions.
No,
That's why I was like,
not
hang
4.
on.
Is
I
this
was
Price is Right rules? Where it's like you can only go up, you can't go down?
No, just whoever's closest.
Okay.
402.
Okay.
I'm going to go 350.
Oh, I actually have to do math. You guys were both close. So the answer is 379. That would mean Jake is closer with a score of 23 away, and Mac was 29 away. So Jake will get the first pick. That was actually a lot better. I thought both of you guys were going to be like 170.
Well, that's why I asked, like, total? It's like, are we going by division?
Wow, so we
All right.
both would have absolutely creamed Ryan if he was the guy we were going against, it sounds
Right.
like.
Yeah. There's no way I would have thought Kageyaki had more than 300 wins without looking it up. All right, so Jake, who is going to be your champ?
I honestly kind of didn't want to win because like I said at the beginning, I think there are a bunch of guys that are all like roughly in the top tier at maybe like roughly 1 in 10 odds or something. I think I got to go with the consistency, and I think I'm going to take Asanoyama here.
Whoa.
Oh,
Wow.
I don't trust either Yokozuna, not enough for something of stakes this high.
I was
very high
really
stakes.
hoping you were going to take Hakuho. I was like, no, that just made my decision easy.
Exactly, and I was kind of hoping that you would take Hakuho and just take that off the table, but yeah. Both Yokozuna, all 3 Ozeki, actually everyone in the Sanyaku except for maybe Takanosho, I could see like being in the top tier of like, odds wise.
All right, Mac, you've got a tough decision ahead of you. Who will it be?
I gotta go Shodai. I don't have faith in Hakuho.
Wow.
My
Wow.
top 2 picks are still on the board. Flerick, where are you going?
Like, you gotta pick Hakuho, right?
You gotta pick Hakuho. And if you
Don't listen
pick
to him, Ryan, or
Hakuho-
don't listen to him,
do
Flerick.
And if you don't pick Hakuho like Flerick did, it's locked in. I'm not erasing it. I'm assuming if that's okay with you, Mr. Flerick.
No, definitely Hakuho. Like
All right.
I'll put my money where my mouth is. I think Hakuho is the favorite. He's going to win a lot of sumo matches. In this tournament.
I thought I was gonna have to choose between like Shodai and Takakesho or something like that. Teruto Fuji just gifted to me. Oh, you guys gave it to me. I'm so happy with you all right now. And since we do the snake draft, I get to choose the first chump. And I know I said I don't think Wakataka Kage is going to do very well. I stick by that. I love him too much to have him be my chump and revel in his badness. So I'm going with the next most obvious answer in Shima no Umi.
Ah, shucks.
Yep,
That-
that was the lock.
That was the lock.
But Fleric, the bound to go 2 and 13 Hide no Umi is still on the board.
That is true. Like I learned some stuff during this episode that kind of brings some interesting wrinkles to this whole entire thing. Now I have to look up Wakataka Kage of how he was doing before. Apparently,
he had a
got
7
that.
and 8 in his first Basho in the Joy.
This is interesting, and a potential back injury. You know what? You might have been lying to us entirely, Ryan, and this might kind of bite me in the butt. But Wakataka Kage, let's go. He'll be my jump.
I like how Fleric picks sumo the way Shodai does sumo. It just doesn't happen until it's my turn to go, and now I'm gonna strategize.
Yeah, I had a list of people. I had another one in place. We'll see if people pick it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Takara Fuji.
he's
too high.
Not bad.
This is not his area. It's too high.
He was only M2 last time, got a 9 and 6. That's what I thought.
Nope. I don't think this is it for him.
All right, Jake.
Yeah, you guys picked Ryan and Fleric got my top 2. I don't know what the hell Mac's thinking, but
You never know what I'm thinking, which is what I want you to think.
I'm
Wild
trying to
card.
see like I
It's
think I
wild.
might go Diamami.
Interesting.
Oh.
He only got an 8
Okay.
and 7 to bump up from Juryo 1, and he has never been good in the top division.
I was Fleric. Who was the other guy that you had on your radar?
It's gonna be Meisei.
Oh, okay. The other guy
He was
I had
another
on,
maybe for me.
Yeah.
The other guy that I was kind of considering was Midori Fuji because I am worried about the herniated disc.
Oh, shots!
And
I thought
career highest rank as well.
didn't Wakataka Kage have the herniated disc?
No, it was
Wakataka
Midori
Kage had
Fuji.
the COVID. Do you want to go to Midori Fuji?
Actually, no. Can I go to Meisei since it wasn't picked? Would people agree with this?
I'm okay
I'm
with that.
fine. I'm fine with it.
Are we okay? If we're all okay with that, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Ryan was going to
you're-
put some
you're
stipulation
kind-
on there.
You're a kind
Well,
gods.
I was gonna say if Wakataka Kage wasn't selected, like then maybe Mac doesn't take Takara Fuji, or if Mac still takes Takara Fuji, then maybe Jake takes Wakataka Kage.
Oh, I see what you mean. Why? Nah, I'm going to stick with Diamami. I talked myself up on it.
okay.
Yeah.
I
Nope.
think Takara Fuji's too high, and I don't want to pick on Wakataka Kage just because he is coming off of COVID. I don't want to be that guy, so I'm gonna go with the guy that's healthy and be like, no, you suck.
I have some faith more in Wakataka Kage can bounce back from that. We'll see.
Mm.
Well, that just makes things easier for me. So, Jake, let's move on to the tiny Takayasu teacup of petty cash and punishments.
Yes,
And
please show our listeners and our
figure out-
viewers.
Right up there.
Oh,
Very
like
good, very good, sir.
That's all the showing I'll be doing because I'm here and my headphone cord doesn't go that far, and that's far too much for me. But
Good
I
point.
have a spinner here, and I know the things that are in there. So I'm going to I will pseudo draw from the cup, and we've taken the Dr. Seuss rhyme out of there because Dr. Seuss has been so viciously canceled by the lamestream media.
yeah, we're actually going to start reading Dr. Seuss books at the end of every podcast to show our support for
that will
Dr. Seuss.
show them.
Yeah.
We're so mad at the publishers of Dr. Seuss books that we're going to endorse them and give them our money.
I could not, would not.
I
Wait, there was
can
more to that.
well I can and I will draw a punishment out of the pseudo cup of Takayasu punishment. The pseudo cup of the
I don't
pseudo
know.
Takayasu cup.
What kind of sumo dreams are you having where you're punishing Takayasu?
So the punishment for this tournament is going to be the GSB Classic Sing a Song with sumo lyrics of the winner's choice.
Ooh,
Oh,
I know
goodness.
this one.
All right.
We got to do it at least once a year, and it is that's the one that has come out of the pseudo Takayasu spooning dreams I
right.
mean from the
Spooning dreams.
Proposal. If everybody is up for it, let's just mix it up a little bit this time with the song. And what if we make it a double punishment and you have to sing a duet song? If nobody else wants to do that, that's fine.
No,
But okay.
I'm out.
Cleric's
Cleric
out.
says
even
no.
even as like a game third place and not having to do it is so much better.
On the other hand, though, we could double our chances to finally get Fleric to have to do this punishment.
That's what
That
I
is
want!
true.
What
That is
if-
true.
What if we make it the punishment is Fleric sings a song no matter what?
Oh, that's a little targeted.
Seconded.
No,
All right.
veto,
We'll have to look into it
Veto.
someday. But yes,
veto.
the GSB classic, sing a song. I'm going to type in here, sing a complete song.
I do think
Ooh.
that we should handle that on a case by case because some
Yeah.
songs have a lot more words than others.
Scheherazade would be an amazing rendition.
Yeah.
I could totally
Yeah.
get into
Albuquerque by Weird Al. It's just an 11-minute stand-up routine to music.
that.
All right. So we will have the classic sing a song as our punishment. I always look forward to those. And so we have put out on the Twitters our bold prediction thread. We've already gotten plenty of fun and bold predictions on there. Send yours in there as well. We will read all of them. When I say we, I mean I will read all of them after
Hey.
the Basho and see who got some good predictions and who had some really, really bad predictions. And we will call them all out on our recap podcast. So if you want a little shout out on the podcast, send us a bold prediction. And if you do well or if you do bad, we'll give you a shout out. But before we wrap up the podcast, we always have to talk about what everybody is most excited for. So, Jake, are you sticking with Daisho sticking it to the banzuke committee as what you're most excited for?
What I'm most excited for on days 1 through 3 is do the Yokozuna wrestle anymore? What I'm excited on days 4 through 10 will be Daisho until he blows it. And then on the final fifth, just the unpredictability of the Yusho race, because I feel like this one absolutely could be wide open. And I always love it when it comes down to the end.
So, I think day 1 should be fairly interesting because I think traditionally day 1, the top ranked Rikishi faces the bottom ranked Sanyaku Rikishi. So that would be day 1 Hakuho versus Daisho, if that holds true.
There you go.
Could be some fun matches to start off this Basho with where Daisho ranked where he is. But Mac,
And
what
you
about-
wanted him to be Sekiwake.
You're right. The banzuke committee knew what they were doing all along. They wanted that the
Apparently.
primo matchmaking from day 1. They didn't want to wait until later in the Basho.
I'm honestly excited just to see the return of the Yokozuna. We haven't seen them in so long, and I'm ready for some top-notch caliber sumo from them. Am I going to be disappointed? Absolutely, because I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm excited for the potential.
What about you, Fleric?
Yeah, I was gonna say Daisho sticking it to the banzuke committee, but after this punishment gambling that's going on, Hakuho, you better do good. We got a lot riding on this.
So, Fleric, what
Keep
if the
going.
song was Barrett's Privateers?
Oh, that might not be too bad.
No,
See?
we can't,
Oh,
we
law
can't
of
make
lyrics.
it easy on him.
But it's the one that we sing that.
Okay,
we
Mac,
like
Mac.
that.
Okay, Mac, you need to win, and then
Yes.
I can maybe think about losing.
I will do my best.
Well,
And then we
any
can make
sea
this happen.
shanty, like it may be like a 5-minute long song, but like 6 out of every 8 lines are just repeats every time.
There we go. In that case, we need like a full chorus, so we'll have to get everyone else in on that. What was it like? Whoa, man, that's the hot stuff on the TikToks nowadays,
that's
right?
the meme.
That's the
It's the meme. We
It's
could
not even
probably
like in my opinion, it's not even like all that particularly exciting of a sea shanty. But if it's at least sea shanties in like mainstream memery, that's
Mhm.
okay. I like
yeah,
that.
we can potentially cash in on this meme that's like many months old.
Yes. Just as
Sounds
you and
good.
I are gonna cash in on man buns as soon as they are like no longer fashionable.
Indeed.
Yeah, we're gonna once COVID quarantine is over, we're gonna have a haircutting ceremony for Flair.
Yes. That could be the punishment.
Ooh, that could be the
punishment.
That might be it.
A hair match.
Yeah. Once it's around like May or July. Ooh, we need to keep that in mind for May or July. Mac and I have been keeping it tight, but Jake and Flarick have not.
So the punishment is either if me or Flarick loses, it's the top knot goes off. If Ryan or Mac loses, no haircuts for a year.
Ooh.
I like
The
it.
inverse.
I was
I'm okay
thinking
with that.
maybe I completely shave off my beard if I
Yeah,
lose.
but that lasts like a week. Like you'd be
Yeah.
back to where you're at in days.
Yeah, no.
That's
I was gonna say Mac would have to grow and show off how pitiful his facial hair can be. But
No,
okay,
it's bad. It is
I-
bad.
This
would-
reminds me of our facial hair bet. Like what was the thing we did? Old timey eventer. Like what was that facial hair thing? Button chops.
oh
What am
yeah,
I-
there was something back in college where it was like it was like finals week or something, and so
There was
I
no
did
shave
the
November.
Lemmy. The
Lemmy is like from ear to ear, everything except for the chin.
yeah. So I was rocking the Lemmy for about a week in college. So yeah, I would have to get approval from the wife that I can't cut my hair for a year.
Mm.
You're a podcaster. You should be able to do all sorts of things like this.
But I am all on board for some sort of hair punishment in the
All
next
right.
couple of months.
If we're all on board for this, I'll do
No.
it.
No, I'm not. It's funny, but
Oh
no.
God damn it, Jake!
No. I've been putting in work every day, growing
That's
a
why
little
it's a
tiny bit.
punishment.
Ryan, what
no
are you
fun.
excited for?
I was excited for cutting Flarick's hair off till Jake ruined my dreams, as he usually does. I want Takakesho all to myself. I don't like it when the camera pans over and Jake is also on the other side of Takakesho in my dreams.
And
That's
I go,
just no
I'm
fun.
not going to cut my hair. And you're like, no, dream ruined.
And then you're like whipping Takayasu.
He's doing that grunt that every time he gets hit.
Yeah. I'm most excited for I'm a sucker for Ozeki promotions. I'm a sucker for promotions, and we don't have any Yokozuna promotions on the line. So I want to see Teruno Fuji complete the comeback, fulfill the prophecy, and become an Ozeki after a 10+ win performance this
And
spot.
so
Yeah.
it was written.
He better just get 10 wins. Just 10.
Yeah, just 10.
Just 10.
Oh yeah, because Flarick doesn't need him doing any better.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
gets
like,
10
I have-
wins, and Daisho gets 15, and the Banzuke committee like jumps off a bridge or something because
the burden
Who's
of being in the
more worthy?
committee.
they are judged unequal to the burden of that Banzuke.
What you have to do is you get Mjolnir, and then you set it in front of Teruno Fuji and Daisho. Whichever one can lift up Mjolnir is worthy of the Ozeki rank.
Teruno Fuji did that Henka to Kota Shogaku. He can't lift shit.
That's true. All right. So if you absolutely want Jake to have to cut his hair in a punishment, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service. It is an absolute must, and it has to happen. Now that we're trying at least to integrate video into this, it can happen. Peer pressure.
man.
It won't work. Jake doesn't fall for peer pressure.
Oh, no,
but
no.
try
No.
anyways.
That is my one superpower. is you three especially cannot pressure me into anything I don't want to do.
We'll get
Yeah.
Katie in on
I was about to
this.
say, we'll get Katie in on this.
Nah, probably wouldn't work.
We'll hold Bubbles ransom. Like, no, she's ours now.
You son of a bitch! Don't you even
Yes.
joke about that.
We found the trigger.
Yeah. If you want to tell Ryan's wife to let him grow out hair for a year, you can
It
reach us on
doesn't matter
social
if
media.
Jake isn't going to fulfill his end of the prophecy.
We're getting stuff. We're just gonna set
How'd this
some
turn
stuff
into a
up and
prophecy?
See how it goes.
Everything's a prophecy.
But you should reach us on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, I guess. I did listen to an exit of the Banzuke, one of the Banzuke whatever podcasts, and I love that Jake was super unenthusiastic while talking about
I
social
like
media.
maybe
inspired
quarter
me.
asset at most.
Yeah, it was inspiring.
Our blog, I guess.
It's okay. Everybody's turned off this podcast. As
Yes,
soon
at this point, it's
as
over.
5 stars, they're all gone.
GrandSumoBreakdown.wordpress.com.
Questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
All right, since nobody's listening anymore, we can kind of plan podcast stuff and still release it as part of the episode. But what if we move the phone number to the beginning of the podcast so people actually hear it?
Our wrap up is like 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much of a point for it.
Yeah.
No.
We can figure that out. If somehow you are still listening to this podcast, the Basho starts Sunday, March 14th. There's plenty of stuff to look out for. We will have our recap episode sometime after day 7 or 8. Our midway recap, that is, of course. To do a full Basho recap after the first week would be asinine, would be preposterous. And then, of course, our regular recap a couple of days after the Basho happens. So
with a song by Fleric.
Let's
Dear
go,
Lord,
Hakuho.
If the
Hakuho.
stars align, let Fleric have to sing, and don't let Mac be the winner because no she shan't tease. It's too easy. I want it to be something from Hamilton.
Or like
Hamilton.
opera or something. Like we're
Oh, are we
if
getting
it's-
into Don Giovanni territory? I will totally get
That'll
into some
be-
opera.
That would be too mean.
You have to write lyrics and perform to Darude Sandstorm.
Ooh.
I love sumo.
Let's go.
Sumo is the best.
Gotta
Okay.
love sumo. Gotta love sumo. Gotta love
See,
sumo. Gotta.
You're just inspired. Like, yeah. Ryan, you just have
Get in
this
on the
already
clay. Get
half
in on the
figured
clay.
out.
Get in on the clay. Throwing this off the clay.
All right,
It's
so
not
Mac
like
already
I can
did
have
that
a
one.
Oh,
bonus
no, we're
song
doing
of
this.
Mac
We're doing
singing
this.
Sandstorm. All right, Mac, you now have to perform Sandstorm on the recap episode. Not
Okay,
until
all right.
So it's
If I lose,
No.
I will do Sandstorm.
Absolutely not. If you lose, you have to do the full Sandstorm song.
That's what I just said. If
Anything
I
else,
lose, I
you
will do
have-
Sandstorm.
Anything
Yeah.
else, you still have to do part of Sandstorm. You're already like halfway there.
Yeah, the
He's
30
gonna pass
minute,
out.
the 30-minute like
Oh God.
remix one of like parking lot remix of Darude Sandstorm.
All right.
All right, we've pressured enough people into enough things. Let's end this podcast.
I suppose.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time.
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.